Ready? All right, I'm pressing the play button. Ready? And we're back. Man, I know you was jamming right there to that tune. You're like, woo, where they get such tunes? Well, you could thank Devin for that one. That one is a Devin original. You're not gonna find that thing just anywhere, man. That type of tune, you just don't get that anywhere. That's professional right there. You see, and that's all we deal with here on Tech Pulse. Now we're talking about iOS 7 offering those securities for in the business world. Now, if you're someone that likes to use your iPad and stuff like that for business, then you will be happy to know that the iOS 7, even though it's not released yet, but iOS 7 is coming out later this year, according to Apple, and according to a report by Macworld. They said that Apple details the new iOS 7 features for business and education. Now, we've heard about the new look of iOS 7 as well as about the most prominent features, but in its WWDC keynote, when WWDC happened a few weeks ago, as it often does, they alluded to many new features that didn't get their chance to shine at WWDC. Now, on its website, Apple's website, the company now details new features coming this fall's update for education and business users alike. This is a fair amount of overlap in these new capabilities aimed as they are at institutions of a certain size. For example, App Store license agreement gives users at both businesses and education institutions the ability to provide apps to users via Apple's App Store volume purchase program, while letting the organization maintain control over app licenses. That way the organization can revoke the app at a later date or reassign them to other students and employees. Because when you get something like, say, like Microsoft Office, using the PC side, for example, Microsoft Office, even if you get it for a business, sometimes you don't get free licensing agreement, and sometimes when you have various programs that you want to buy, depending on who owns the program, getting an unlimited license can be expensive, and because you have different employees and you're going to use it around the office, and then once you have those licenses, they don't necessarily having the ability to revoke it. It's on their computer and stuff like that. Well, Apple is saying that their programs that they have available for business in the form of apps will give business owners and teachers, people in businesses, regular businesses, and people who work in education departments or as an educator in schools and so forth. You're going to have the ability to have control over app licenses. You're going to have, and then you can revoke licenses at will because it's an app. You can, and the person downloads that app onto their computer. The new Apple update in iOS 7 will allow you to assign people. So let's say I'm an educator and I want to give my students access to certain educational tools in the App Store. I can do that, but if the student leaves or the student is no longer part of the class or they drop the class, whatever, I can revoke them from my standpoint. I can revoke them from using the app. They still won't have access to the app even though they're not a part of the class, because I would have control over who has usage of various apps. And personal Apple IDs can be enrolled in the program and don't have to be provided to the business excuse me, or school. So you can enroll them directly in Apple's program. Now, both schools and businesses also gain new mobile device management options, letting them wirelessly set up apps, install custom fonts, configure accessibility options, and AirPrint printers, whilst AirPlay destinations and stuff like that. Now, in education environments, instructors can set up iOS devices to be locked to a certain app. For example, if a student's taking tests or a quiz or something like that, you can prevent them from being able to access the apps during that time. So it gives you a whole lot of control over these new. You saying?
It's a good idea.
Yeah, and it's very flexible, and one that I hope Windows adopts as far as the flexibility. Because you can get licenses for Microsoft Office, you can get licenses for Word and stuff like that, and you can even get unlimited license. It costs you, but putting it in an app form to where it's an app rather than a program, rather than something like that, it gives you it gives you much better control, because now the controllers of the app, if I leave, even though I have the app downloaded, because I have the master, and I forget what you call that in terms of if you're the master controller of the software. I forget what there's a word you use, but if you're the master controller, administrator, that's what it is. If you're the administrator, you can cut who you want to use the app. In other words, you have control over everyone who has that app. So if someone leaves, you can just deny that person access from your control. You don't have to tell them, can you please uninstall, or go to their computer and uninstall. You don't have to do any of that. They can have it on their computer, doesn't matter, and you can go ahead and uninstall it at any time. So this is something that Apple is offering in the iOS, and in their new iOS 7 that's coming out later this year. These are some of the updates that they're coming out with, and according to
when will this be?
When iOS 7 launch. There's no launch date for iOS 7 just yet. They're saying sometime this fall, but when iOS 7 launch, this thing will be launching with it, and they said that personal web traffic is not sent over VPN, and Apple says that all third-party apps now have iOS data protection automatically enabled, keeping documents secure until the user enters their device passcode. So in the past, third-party apps didn't have the same data protection automatically as Apple or in-house apps. So that's a good thing as well. And education institutions, meanwhile, will benefit from the ability to access features like iTunes U, iCloud backups, alongside the new volume licensing options for apps. A new program also allows children under 13 to get their own Apple IDs with parental consent. And iPads, iPhone, iPod Touches aren't the only devices that can be managed by educators. Apple TVs can now be enrolled in mobile device management as well. So if you're someone who uses Apple TV, Apple is, once again, they're creating their whole ecosystem to where you can use Apple TV as an educational device. Remember when WWDC was streaming, Apple streamed it live on Apple TV. So Apple TV is not just a streaming device for like Netflix, Hulu, movies and stuff like that. Apple is trying to incorporate Apple TV into their whole universe. So in this educational system process they're going to make Apple TV a part of the mobile education device. So parents can use Apple TV as well. If you have that in your home, you can use that as well, and Apple TVs can now be enrolled in mobile device management as well, streamlining initial setup options and granting the ability to prompt students to mirror their displays, letting educators share children's work with the entire class using Apple TV. So Devin, I know that you're not really a proponent, of Apple as far as, the whole ecosystem thing and so forth. But when we see Apple using their technology in this, like I say, in innovative ways, in terms of, like a Roku box, it's just, there for streaming and so forth. Apple came out with their own Apple TV, and now they want to incorporate it, and they want to use it so that if a child is at home, let's say, a child is at home or they are not in class, they can use Apple TV, with a webcam. They can use Apple TV to show their homework or to be a part of a class without being there. So if a child is sick or a child can't come to school for whatever reason, Apple is going to use Apple TV in a way that allows children to be a part of their class at home still. And be able to let educators see their homework or let educators see what they're doing remotely. So I think that's an innovative way of using Apple TV, not just as a streaming device for, like entertainment, which is good, but they're also incorporating it into the education world.
Yeah, they're catching up to some of what we've been trying to do.
Talking.
Yeah. So
finally, Apple.
Kudos to them, but we are.
They're still late.
Yeah, they're late, and so just check with us and we'll help you, you know, bring streaming
To the home,
bi-directional streaming,
Right,
anyway,
right.
to the home for kids and even family members, you
Exactly.
know, so
Yeah.
they see what's going on in
And
school.
probably at a much
It's a
more
good
cost
thing.
effective.
Oh, absolutely,
Much more cost effective
yeah.
than, Apple. So yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. So this update that Apple is coming out with, if you're an Apple fan, if you're someone that's like, man, I've been waiting for Apple to do something for a while, well, you know what I'm saying, they're coming up with this new iOS 7 update, according to the folks at Macworld. The new Apple iOS 7, when it debuts, will have these features packed into it for educators and businesses as well. So stay tuned for that. Now, if you're someone who is, you like to work out and you like to exercise, but and the thing is, it's funny because we were just talking about this in the studio here, about going out to exercise and having a gym membership and all this type of stuff. How it's really just not. I don't necessarily want to say inefficient, because people do go to gyms, or on their way home they can just stop to a gym. Yeah, but it's really being able to work out at home at your own pace. It gives you an edge that you can't get by going to the gym. Because at the gym, a lot of people are self-conscious, and a lot of people at the gym, when they go, they don't look like they need to work out, because their bodies are tip-top shape and stuff. And someone who might, be kind of flabby, feels self-conscious working out against the hard bodies. Well, working out at home is still alive and well, and according to the people at the Peloton exercise bike company, they have the Peloton exercise bike equipped with a 21.5-inch tablet running Android 4.1 to help you with your workout. We're going to talk about that coming up right after the break. Also, we're going to talk about the LeapPad Ultra Kids tablet. I know a lot of you have children out there. You're wondering, I want to get them a starter tablet to get them in, but I just don't want them to have access to all of the things online. And even though you can provide parental lockouts, maybe you're saying, I'm not tech savvy. I don't know how to do that. Well, the LeapPad Ultra Kids tablet has been unveiled, and this thing has a new child-friendly browser. All of that and more is going to come up right after. Not before, but right after we take a break here in the studio. So stay tuned right here on Tech Pulse, the show that keeps you up to date. We'll be right back.